Hi, this is Cheryl Petersen with the Community of Christ Scientists and a Christian Science Bible study read from the Bible, the Message version, copyrighted by Eugene Petersen, and from 21st Century Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, a modern version of Mary Baker Eddy's Science and Health, copyrighted by Cheryl Petersen. The subject, Spirit Being. Golden text is from Matthew. Don't be bluffed into silence by the threats of bullies. There's nothing they can do to your soul, your core being. Save your fear for God, who holds your entire life, body, and soul in His hands. 1 John. What marvelous love the Father has extended to us. Just look at it. We're called children of God. That's who we really are. But that's also why the world doesn't recognize us or take us seriously, because it has no idea who He is or what He's up to. But friends, that's exactly who we are, children of God, and that's only the beginning. Who knows what we'll end up? What we know is that when Christ is openly revealed, we'll see Him, and in seeing Him, become like Him. All of us who look forward to His coming, stay ready with the glistening purity of Jesus' life as a model for our own. All who indulge in a sinful life are dangerously lawless, for sin is a major disruption of God's order. Surely you know that Christ showed up in order to get rid of sin. There is no sin in Him, and sin is not part of His program. No one who lives deeply in Christ makes a practice of sin. None of those who do practice sin have taken a good look at Christ. They've got him all backward. So, my dear children, don't let anyone divert you from the truth. It's the person who acts right who is right, just as we see it lived out in our righteous Messiah. Those who make a practice of sin are straight from the devil, the pioneer in the practice of sin. The Son of God entered the scene to abolish the devil's ways. People conceived and brought into life by God don't make a practice of sin. How could they? God's seed is deep within them, making them who they are. It's not in the nature of God-born to practice and parade sin. Here's how you tell the difference between God's children and the devil's children. The one who won't practice righteous ways isn't from God, nor is the one who won't love brother or sister. A simple test. For this is the original message we heard. We should love one another. 21st Century Science and Health. Question. What is the scientific statement of being? Answer. There is no life, truth, intelligence, nor substance in matter. All is infinite mind and its infinite manifestation, for God is all in all. Spirit is divine truth. Matter is human error. Spirit is the real and eternal. Matter is the unreal and temporal. Spirit is God, and we are Spirit's image and likeness. Therefore, person is not mortal, but is immortal. Genesis 1:9. And God said, Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. And it was so. Spirit, God, gathers unformed thoughts into their proper channels, and unfolds these thoughts, even as love opens the petals of a holy purpose in order that that purpose may appear. Genesis 1:10. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters He called seas, and God saw that it was good. In this verse, the human concept and divine idea seem confused by the translator, but they are not so in the scientifically spiritual meaning of the text. Even the pleasing task of finding names for all material things was supposedly passed down to Adam. However, Adam hasn't yet appeared in the narrative. In metaphor, the dry ground illustrates the absolute formations instituted by mind. Water symbolizes the elements of mind, such as beauty and grace. Spirit appropriately feeds and clothes every object, even as it appears in the line of spiritual revelation, thus tenderly expressing the motherhood and fatherhood of God. Spirit names and blesses all. Without natures particularly defined, objects and subjects would be obscure, and creation would be full of nameless offspring, wanderers from the parent mind, strangers in a tangled wilderness. Genesis 1:11. Then God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds." And it was so. The universe of spirit reflects the powerful creativity of the divine principle or life, which reproduces the multitudinous forms of mind and governs the increase of multifaceted spiritual being. The tree and herb do not yield fruit because of any propagating power of their own, but because they reflect the mind which includes all. A world with mindlessness implies a human mortal mind as creator. The scientific divine creation declares immortal mind and the universe created by God. Genesis 1:21. So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living and moving thing with which the water teems, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Spirit is symbolized by strength, presence, power, and holy thoughts, winged with love. These angels of soul's presence, which have the holiest charge, abound in the spiritual atmosphere of mind and consequently reproduce their own characteristics. Their individual forms we know not, but we do know that their natures are allied to God's nature, and spiritual blessings, thus typified, are the externalized yet subjective states of faith and spiritual understanding. Divine Spirit blesses its own ideas and causes them to multiply, to manifest love's power. We are not made to cultivate limited concepts of matter. We also are not made to dominate. Our dominion is to respect and care for all the symbols of God, the Maker. This is the science of being.